Hello, dear sweet ones. Welcome back to my channel, The Empowered Light Leader. I've been away for some time. It's been about a month. I am recovering from a nice reset. Thank you for being patient with me. I am finally back. And if you're new to my channel, I am here to offer inspiration, channel guidance, and wisdom, as well as light language to expand your consciousness. And today is exciting. This video is exciting. I'm going to be channeling a channel message and some light language on the history of humanity and why this is important. And we're going to do a light language transmission to reconnect with your divine truth and who you really are. So this morning, I'm just going to preface by saying I was not intending to channel on this very strong stream of light language. When light language comes through, for those of you who are beginning to speak it now or feel connected or desiring to connect to it, remember it comes through like a stream of energy. So it's not so much that you're trying, it's just flows, falls inwards. It just comes out, right? So I started speaking for about 5 minutes and it was very fast. And I'm going to give you a summary, a summation of what was being said through that transmission. And then I'm going to do another light language transmission with an activation. So while I was speaking, there was this sense of I was being given like a lesson or sort of understanding of our history as humans and some of the things that have come into play in that history and why it's important now and why they're talking about that history and how everything's kind of come full circle now and they're kind of calling it that period of return. So instantly, right away, I was hit with the energy or the remembrance of the Anunnaki. So those of you might be familiar with that term, Anunnaki, whether you believe they're good or bad, that's besides the point. It is an extraterrestrial galactic race. And the information I got was that they were very influential in our origin. So they were doing some kind of, experiments in human DNA modification. What the motivations behind that were, there's some information that it was for enslavement. I do believe there's more to it than that. But that wasn't so much the point of the transmission. The transmissions were saying that around that time, those Anunnaki beings were seen as gods to the humans at that time. And what they also told me was that the truth of who we are, the truth of our civilization, of our history, a galactic and history on Gaia, on Earth, are one, and they're found in our stories. They're found in our myths and our legends. They're not found in our history books. That's not the true history. They're found in our indigenous peoples' stories. They're found in myths and fantasies and fairy tales. This is all the truth of who we are in many different layers. So attached to this transmission was that understanding. And then I also saw while this was going on, it was almost like a gateway. Um, the energy here was like a portal or a gateway for many different energies. And at one point, if you look at the story of Adam and Eve, there's this kind of, right, again, a story or a myth, but there's truth in the myth that, you have the Garden of Eden, and at that time, there was an energy of Eden. We were vibrating very high in a heart-centered space. And when those other energies or other influences like the Anunnakis and other beings came here, it altered that energy and it almost put us out of alignment. And since that time, we have been out of alignment with our true selves. Now, this was a choice. This wasn't a punishment. We are now returning to understand all this, and that is the truth. And that is why we're given this information to understand this is who we are. Who we are naturally is one with source, right? And this kind of imbalance to that is part of our return to knowing that we are one, that we are source, and that we are God. So after they showed me that kind of time in which things went wrong, so to speak, when we came imbalanced, they also pointed out a couple of things. This energy channeled through me that said, there is a return to divine feminine. There is a return to Mother Earth, Gaia, but also the Divine Mother, the primordial Mother, and the understanding that our God is so much bigger than the religious God. Our true God is the God of Source, the God of creation, which is also the Mother God. So now we were very imbalanced in that unhealthy masculine energy that sought to manipulate or control. That's the imbalance of power, and diminish the light of the sacred feminine, because that in itself is very powerful. So we are now returning to alignment with the knowing and the truth of what true power is and the true nature of the feminine, and balancing out all of the darker influences and all of the darker the imbalance in the male energy and all of the havoc that's wreaked on our planet. Think of all of the havoc that's wreaked on our planet, and all of the implanted energies of that darker negative, all of the darker negatives that came in on the time that have been feeding off of Mother Earth and feeding off of our own intuitive connection and our intuitive voice, right? That have sought to dominate that and disconnect for their own agenda, right? It's all being removed. I almost saw it like little sinkholes in the earth where this dark energy was like feeding and hiding, and it's all being plucked out because of the transition. And that leads me to this other piece, this final piece. I know this is a lot of information, and perhaps there'll be some more videos, but this is really the history of where we're at now. Now, they also brought me to the time of Yeshua, Jesus, because they were saying that when he was born, his life, that energy, he was grounding in the Christ conscious energy to return humanity to the knowing that we are source, that we are one. And that's what the Christ consciousness energy is, to return humanity to that vibration. And then it felt as if there were certain pieces of the puzzle that weren't quite, it was like he was here to almost plant a seed. And that seed was planted, and as he went onwards in spirit, it's almost like he could do more that way. But the seeds that Christ consciousness and Mary and Yeshua and the Marys and the divine brotherhood and sisterhood at that time that kept all that sacred information, within the teachings, his teachings, and his students and Essenes and followers and apostles. It was guarded as such as sacred, because of other agendas at that time. But here we are now, returning to understanding that truth and that liberation of those seeds that were planted, 2,000 years ago. So that's why this message is so important. That's why this information is important. It's not just for entertainment per se. It's for understanding that we are truly at our liberation. So for your own sake of understanding, this is where we're at. So I'm just going to now bring in light language to ground out this message. And if any more information comes in, we'll let it come in. Shiurte sekatakamoro kutatei mashukataku share the matatase, Motokoshikate, Bashukotoku, Shipatu no kutate, and Otokutakaskatu, Motokusur, Dush, at the cashier, Dush, at the Temokorakamala, Ikaranoyat, Aratemikorusu, Mokorikatakiskatakatakatakaskatakatakatakaskatakatakutikuti, and Otokotatia, 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 Umbatea. Marinda shoman tatate mashukatataba. Arabish, but Kutukushukatakish, Katakash, 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 Ushukatakash, Katakash, Yatoya, yatoya, yoitaya, rutuyo, ya, maya, matotuyo, moko, andariti, shakatanana, 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 shakatanana. Many of you are being awoke now for that very reason. You are co-creating with a purpose. You are understanding your part in that purpose. Follow those drives and those desires. They are in alignment with the co-creation of oneness and the recreation of the harmonic convergence of oneness that is taking place in the earth frequency now as you are, rotating, returning to that which you truly are. So, remove yourself from anything that is less than that. Be true to yourself. Rely on the creator within. Nothing else is your true source of connection. You are that. The truth of who you are is within. And when you understand that, nothing can compromise that. Take some nice deep breaths. A nice transmission there. So I know this is a lot of information, the history of our galactic history, our human history. If you'd like to hear more about this, please let me know in the comments below. I know I've been away for a while. I'm going to try to be more consistent and be back. If you have any requests for other videos, any other things you would like me to channel, let me know. I'm also thinking about doing a monthly membership. If that sounds cool to you, let me know. I'd love to hear feedback about that. And if you're curious about me and what I do, you can seek out my links in the information that I provide in the description. Thank you guys for all your comments, all your feedbacks, all your feedback. I appreciate it. I've missed channeling for you. I've missed my YouTube channel. So I will be back soon with some more goodies and high vibrational information. Sending you much love. Bye, everyone. Bye.